We are only here for top division bouts today, but even this is a large step forward for the channel. My last taste of Saturday Sumo was May 2009, when Asashoryu, Hakuho and Harumafuji all faced the final weekend on 12-1. The leaders this time, indeed these days, are nothing like as dominant, with only Takayasu and Terunofuji even winning 10 come today, keeping even 4-loss Takakeisho, Asanoyama and others in the race. What a charmed life the bull's horns now live. Before we see how all those men fared, let me present the variety corner. Yutakayama pulled out on day 14 with a torn bicep, which should be no surprise to those observing his scarecrow walk yesterday. Indeed, the region had been heavily taped from day one. Was it these injury concerns, perhaps, which made him feel the need to pep-talk himself and vow to prolong his career for his newborn son? For now, Yutaka returns to Division 2, an under-par, ergo grateful Kotonowaka winning by default. The shock of last November was perhaps pulled off by Chiotario, who defeated Kaisei for the first time in 7 years and 14 attempts. Having finally broken the spell, he was keen for today's bout to prove that last time was no fluke, and that he'd actually found a way to fend off his tormentor. Avoiding the outside left was a must, and he clearly gave this one his all. But last time likely was a fluke. Tairyu breaks the grip once, but retreats while swinging, giving Kaisei's inside right license to drive. His oblique stance meant it went on a bit, Kaisei said. Somehow, though, I stayed in and accomplished the force out. And it's good to get a winning score for a change. Move of the day was surely Tetsutsuyoshi's reverse gear special on Kagayaki. Note the larger step Tsuyoshi takes at the end to create a better pushing angle. A few degrees out, and he'd have lost his rank. And that was just a sample of the thrills to come. When Aoiyama and Wakatakakage mounted the dohyo, neither considered himself or the other a title contender, and simply wished to beat his foe to double figures. Indeed, from the way Wakatakakage fought, you wondered if it was really the same man we'd seen outwill Takayasu yesterday. Was he exhausted? Was he even interested? My reach inside was half-hearted and not good, and my legs just couldn't keep up, was how Waka explained it. I kept him in front of me and refused to let him in, was Aoiyama's take. And I'm not even thinking about the title. For the Bulgarian expected both Takayasu and Terunofuji to win. And when the former entered, He was welcomed with claps, eloquent of a general belief that despite the setbacks, winning his final two was not beyond him. But that's different from seeing him as champion. And when the stakes of the occasion dawned, near silence ensued, as crowd members eyeing his pale face recalled how much more belief they'd held yesterday. As a disciple of Kiseno Sato, Takayasu has seen many valiant tries come to nothing. His most recent match, he had fought well and lost. Try as he might to ignore the oft-emerging pattern, it was eating him away. His first instinct was to defend, especially against right kicks. Tobizaru had suspected such, and first took aim with the left. It couldn't be. Overcautious perhaps, but not inept. That was a good Takayasu performance, handicapped by a loose enemy belt. Surely he hadn't blown it at the last. Even the judges couldn't bear his suffering and felt impelled to try and save him. But as Takayasu's despondent freeze suggested, even Henry Fonda couldn't have convinced that jury. As the replay clearly shows, Takayasu, panicked by the kick into going for broke and opting not to bring the left arm round to push, does not stride grandly enough with his right, at least compared to Tobizaru's retreating left, and when caught on tiptoe with left foot ungrounded, is flipped so that left foot skids and crumbles, sending the knee down first. For Takayasu, it's straight defeats for the first time in 28 tournament days. Aoiyama was now level with him and named as his final opponent. I was on the attack and then halfway through I fell into his stance and thought, "This is bad," Tobizaru recalled. But it was good I hung in there for the win. I really don't remember those final moments. My body just moved on autopilot. I resolved not to lay down and to make his life difficult today. And it fires me up when the other guy is going well. Was going well. Were Takakeisho to win this match, he too would catch Takayasu up. And, courtesy of Shodai's stupid overreach for the pull, he duly did. All title talk is irrelevant unless I win tomorrow, Keisho said of his final day bout with Terunofuji. All I can do is give my all. I was beaten for energy today, is Shodai's common refrain. I wanted to exert pressure with some pushing, but ended up receiving. The final bout would now have a truly immense bearing on the title race. A Terunofuji win would make him sole leader, having been 2 points behind Takayasu on Wednesday lunchtime. An Asanoyama win, meanwhile, would see 5 men tie for the lead. Determined to beat Terunofuji for the first time, Asa had talked big pre-tournament, claiming to have left no stone unturned in the search for viable tactics. And if I can't win the title, I can't progress full stop, was another Asa refrain. But despite the visibly different tactics, which we'll analyse post-tournament, the result was just the same. "I felt I fought calmly today," said unruffled Teru. "I thought only of relentlessly going forward." Asanoyama, meanwhile, thought only of relentlessly avoiding interview. His pain must rival Takayasu's. So, can you believe this? The title decider, for the moment, and the second time in 4 months, is between two men, both beaten by Takayasu, one of whom, since this loss here on Tuesday, has made up the entire 3-point deficit it brought about. All Takayasu can do, assuming he wins, is hope Takakeisho forces the playoff. And as the gold-belted philosopher Tsurugisho might say, may the ablest man be the luckiest.